Welcome back to Air Quality Matters and One Take. One Take, my take on a paper or report on air quality, ventilation and the built environment. One Take in that it's in one take and tries to summarise for you a scientific perspective on something interesting in, usually 10 minutes or less, because who has the time to read all these amazing documents, right? This week, the mundane routine of laundry. We're looking at something really specific here, and I love these papers, doing the laundry, specifically drying it indoors. This week's paper, published in the Journal of Indoor Environments, is titled Indoor Laundry Drying, Full-Scale Determination of Water Emissions Rates and Impact on Thermal Comfort. Let's set the scene. Environmental agencies constantly tell us to save energy by ditching the tumble dryer, and for good reason. In France, for example, tumble dryers account for 20% of the average annual electricity consumption of household appliances. So many of us turn to passive indoor drying on clothes horses and drying racks, particularly if you live in countries like Ireland where it's often very wet outside. It is a massive practice across Europe, particularly in the winter months, where over 60% of laundries are dried indoors in countries like Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic and Finland. But here's the problem. While we know drying clothes indoors can lead to dust mite growth and higher concentrations of airborne mould spores due to rising moisture, the actual kinetics of this, how much water is emitted, exactly when, and how it physically changes the room's environment, hasn't really been properly quantified in a controlled full-scale way. Until now. The researchers used a highly controlled 40 cubic metre experimental room to figure out exactly what happens when you hang up a load of washing. They started by testing different fabrics and washing machine settings to create a standard representative laundry load. What they found right off the bat is that cotton is the real culprit for indoor moisture. A typical 4 kilogram load of dry cotton towels will hold about 2 kilograms of water after a standard 40-degree wash. And interestingly, spinning that cotton faster than 1000 RPM doesn't actually extract much more water. So you take this wet laundry containing roughly 2 litres of water and you hang it in your living room or spare bedroom. What happens next? Well, interestingly, there are 3 phases of drying. By constantly weighing the drying rack and monitoring the room's humidity, the researchers discovered that the water emissions isn't a slow, steady trickle. It happens in 3 distinct phases. First, there's the initial burst. During the first 2 hours, the water emission rate is massive, exceeding 100 grams per hour. In fact, in the very first minutes, it peaks at a staggering 360 grams per hour. Then the second part is the steady state. From about 10 to 25 hours, the emission rate drops and stabilizes at around 50 grams per hour. Why? Because the room itself has become so humid that the gradient between the wet clothes and the surrounding air has decreased, slowing the evaporation down. Then you have the last exhaustion phase. Beyond 30 hours, the emission rate gradually tails off as the laundry finally runs out of water. Now here's the really interesting insight, and it's something we don't talk about enough. Evaporating water is endothermic. It literally sucks heat out of the surrounding air. The researchers observed that as the laundry dried, the temperature in the experimental room dropped significantly, recording temperature drops of between 0.5 degree and 3.8 degrees. And here is the kicker. If your room starts off quite dry, the initial humidity gradient is higher, which means the water evaporates faster, which in turn causes an even sharper drop in the room's temperature. When the researchers mapped these temperatures and humidity changes into a standard thermal comfort chart like ASHRAE 55, the results were clear. Passive indoor laundry drying actively drags the room conditions right out of the acceptable comfort zones. While wearing thicker winter clothes might mitigate the discomfort slightly, the fundamental imbalance to the room's hydrothermal state is undeniable. So what's the so what here? Well, if we're told to avoid tumble dryers to save energy, or quite frankly, we can't afford them in the first place, but doing so drops the temperature of our living spaces by almost 4 degrees. What do we inevitably do? We turn up the central heating. The authors conclude that we need better mitigation strategies. We can't just hang wet clothes anywhere. We need to be strategic, perhaps positioning drying racks in a bathroom close to an air extraction point to avoid spreading moisture and physically cooling down the living and sleeping spaces. If we're serious about energy efficiency and indoor air quality, we need to treat the mundane tasks like laundry with a bit of building physics respect that they deserve. I think it's a really interesting insight into showing that actually some of the advice we have about where we dry laundry in our homes is factually correct. But I think we can go further to educate, particularly the public, how important, particularly the first hour or two of clothes drying really is. Thanks as always for listening. I really appreciate you taking time to sit here and listen to these papers. I think they're fascinating. And these podcasts really are not possible without our sponsors, Safe Traces, Imbia and Farmwood. Without them, they just simply wouldn't be possible. And look, if you enjoy these episodes, please do share them, give them 5 stars and all of that, because that stuff really helps the algorithm apparently. Thanks a million. See you next week.